have we learned lessons from the 1983 Black July?
Some of us have, I would even say most of us have. The visit of UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, Madam Navi Pillai, in August. Here is a person who is very well qualified to take the legal route in case there are attempts to unfairly destabilize.
Getting back to more local news, the British parliamentary delegations headed by Eleanor Lang, who are on a visit to the island, toured Hambantota today.
The British parliamentary delegation were informed about the development taking place in the Hambantota district.
The group of members of parliament from the United Kingdom who have visited this part of Sri Lanka this morning are very impressed by the developments that you're undertaking here. We've seen the first phase of the port and we very much look forward to seeing future phases of the port. It's a really visionary project and I'm sure that it's going to bring prosperity to this part of Sri Lanka.
The official death toll from the sinking of an Australian-bound asylum seekers vessel has risen to 11, with the bodies of 2 children among those retrieved. More people are feared missing, but officials still do not know the exact number of people who were on board the ill-fated vessel that sank off the coast of Indonesia. At least 11 were killed, including women and children, and another 189 have been rescued after a boat carrying suspected asylum seekers sank off Indonesia's southern coast. West Javan police said that they will start investigating the case once rescue operations are over. A spokesperson for the West Java police said all of the survivors will be transferred to the immigration detention center in Swangkubi, while the bodies will be sent to a police hospital in Jakarta. He added that the survivors were from Bangladesh, Iraq, Iran, Sri Lanka and Bahrain, but that information still needs to be confirmed by the immigration office. In this backdrop, Australia's opposition has called for a military solution to fight people smugglers. Opposition leader Tony Abbott said the issue was a national emergency and he would ask a military commander to tackle the boats if elected.
Several orders and recommendations related to the Inland Revenue Bill was taken up for debate in Parliament today.
ශ්‍රී ලංකාව හා ඉන්දියාව අතර ද්විත්ව බදුකරණය වැළැක්වීමේ ගිවිසුම.
The agreement is between India and Sri Lanka to stop dual taxation. The aim of this agreement is to speed up economic development by promoting the flow of capital, technology and human resources from one country to another. Remove barriers which impose dual taxation on the same income. Foreign investors have to pay taxes in their own country as well as in the country in which they invest in. Entering into such an agreement with India is necessary because if you take a look at the investment in the country, a large portion is from India.
අපට ලැබෙන්නේ ඉන්දියාවෙන් කියලා බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්න පුළුවන්. එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂයේ අය ඊයේ තමුන්නාන්සලක්
An individual who shouted like all of you in the UNP and berated the government pledged his support to the government. There are plenty more to follow. Plenty of people who shouted at us, at times using profanity, currently occupy leading roles in the government. We do not need to provide answers. They are doing it for us. Seniors attached to the UNP are giving the answers on behalf of us. No one is prepared to hand over the country to you.
තමුන්නාන්සල උත්තර දෙන්නේ. ඒගොල්ලෝ තමයි තමුන්නාන්සල හොක්කඩයි දෙන්න කතා කරන්නේ. උත්තර දෙන්නේ UNP ලොක්කෝ තමයි මෙහි ඉඳලා. කවුරුත් තමුන්නාන්සලාට රට බාර දෙන්න ලෑස්ති නැහැ.
The demands of carpenters from Colombo who staged a demonstration yesterday was a topic of discussion at a meeting at the Ministry of Environment today. Minister Jeevan Kumartunga said that it was agreed to grant 6 of the demands made by the protesters.
Yesterday, a group of carpenters from the Rawatawata area staged a demonstration. They also protested against Minister Jeevan Kumartunga, who arrived at the location. A meeting to discuss the demands of the carpenters was held today, chaired by the Minister of Environment, Susil Premajayantha. During this discussion, the carpenters had presented 6 demands. Among those demands were to abolish the transportation permit for finished goods and implement it within the Colombo district alone, increase the stocks of timber that is sent to the mill from the Timber Corporation, and provide a concessionary price for timber. The carpenters have also requested that a tax be imposed on imported furniture and to increase existing taxes and to establish a forest conservation office in Moratuwa. Minister Jeevan Kumartunga said that a positive response to the primary demands were given and approval from the Treasury and the Ceylon Electricity Board has to be obtained on other matters.
We decided on 6 main facts. There are certain facts that cannot be changed immediately or cannot be decided upon immediately. We will appoint a committee and meet a team of your representatives to hold discussions and reach a final decision. Facts were revealed during this meeting. We hope to implement the decisions in the future. There are certain facts that affect the country. We discussed at length about the difficulties faced by traditional carpenters. We will provide relief to them as soon as possible. We would need a specific amount of time to provide more relief. We ask that you give us time.
Problems that affect this industry crop up from time to time. I have been involved in the Muratu electorate for a very long time. Whenever a problem arises, we have held discussions with the then subject minister and solutions were found. There are unsolved issues as well. However, the problems that have cropped up now have severely affected the carpenters. That is why it resulted in a protest. We are not holding anything in our minds about what happened yesterday. We will not be discouraged by the actions of a few. We are dedicated to fulfilling our responsibilities towards the carpenters.
Britain's Prince William and his wife Kate have chosen 3 traditional royal names by calling their newborn baby boy George Alexander Louis.
William's office announced today that Britain's royal baby has a name. Prince William and his wife Kate will call him George Alexander Louis. Born on Monday to global media frenzy, the newborn, who is third in line to the British throne, will be known as His Royal Highness Prince George of Cambridge. The world waited just 2 days to hear the name, a relatively short time by royal standards, but one that still prompted a global guessing game.
I think it should be a royal regal name, just for the tradition.
Why not have like a common first name and a royal middle name?
It's kingly, and it was our first president too, so a lot of leaders of businesses are named George.
George has been the name of 6 British kings. The last, George VI, was the father of Queen Elizabeth.
Well, Sri Lanka has retained its position as the #1 ranked 2020 international side, according to the latest ICC T20 rankings released today.
Sri Lanka tops the T20 rankings with 134 points, while world T20 champions West Indies are placed second with 127 points. Former T20 world champions India and Pakistan are placed third and fourth respectively. Former champions England are placed fifth ahead of South Africa, who occupy the 6th position. Australia and New Zealand are ranked 7th and 8th, while Ireland and Bangladesh complete the top 10.
Angelo Matthews will return from suspension to captain Sri Lanka in their 3rd ODI against South Africa in Pallekele tomorrow. The skippers of the 2 teams expressed these views in a media briefing held today.
The boys have been playing really good cricket in the past 2 games, and you know, we won quite, you know, convincingly. So you know, Protea is not a side whom we can beat, you know, convincingly all the time, and we need to, you know, we can't really put down our guards. So we need to play positive cricket and, you know, play good cricket to win against them tomorrow as well.
We're 2-0 down now. We're still alive in this series. We would like to obviously win this game, put a bit of pressure on the home team, and you never know. We are a very talented one-day unit. I still believe that, and if we hit our straps and we get a bit of momentum behind us, we'll be very dangerous in the rest of the series.
And with that, we wrap up this edition of News First Primetime News. For the News First team, I'm Ramesh Bandara.
And I'm Shanali De Silva. Have a good night.
Hotline 0114-896-896. www.newsfirst.lk. Feedback at newsfirst.lk.